Hello students. So in this video we'll start with the MCQs which are expected in NEET level and even for CET also. So the topic wise questions we are going to discuss in this next videos, and the first chapter I am going to choose here, the living word of your first year syllabus, the living word. That is the topic wise. First, what is living? So in theory we have studied that what is living, how to define, and what are the defining characters, all we have studied, right? The MCQs are like this. So first I'll choose here the first question: among the following, which can be a common feature exhibited by both living and non-living? So what they are asking, among the following means they are given you 4 options, which can be a common feature exhibited by both living and non-living. So already we have defined the what is living based on their features which are exhibited by the organisms, right? Growth, metabolism, and reproduction, cellular organization, all which are the properties of or the features which are exhibited by organisms we have discussed. But out of these 4, so you can observe here the question 1, the options you should read the all options first: growth, reproduction, B, and C, metabolism, and next one is the cellular organization, right? So here the growth is also one of the property of living, and metabolism is also a property of living, reproduction is also a property of living, and the cellular organization is also a property of living. But here the expected thing is which is common, a property which are given here, one of the property which is exhibited by both living and non-living we should choose. So here the definitely the growth, because the growth is the important property. So I'll choose here the growth is the answer. Growth is answer because growth may be observed in both living and non-living, right? So the only difference is that it is growth is the increase in either number or mass internally, so that is actually in the living. But in non-living, externally, so number of molecules are gone adding on the surface, that is externally we can say, right? So, and as usual, reproduction is also a property of living, but non-living properties which are not reproduced. For example, so the any non-living thing which is not reproduced, so after some times or whatever the duration. Next, metabolism. So it's also a cellular process. So in the living system, so we observe the metabolism, so which includes the catabolism and anabolism. So we have studied that. Next one, the cellular organization. So all living beings are made up of cells, what we discussed, right? So that is cellular organization we can say. So but in case of non-living, there is no cells, there is no cellular organization, either tissue, cell or organ, such thing is not there in the non-living. So that's what, it's very important question. So in this way the answer of this first question is the growth. Next one, second question, we go for the second question. So that is, among the following, increase in body mass can be taken as a criterion for growth. What is the criteria for the growth? So what they are asking, among the following means all these are the options which are given. Among these, so increase in a body mass can be taken as a criterion for growth. increase in body mass. So in living organisms and in non-living objects, and both A and B, both A and means living A and B means non-living objects, and the last option none of the above, there is no answer like. Okay, so here the answer, how to detect this answer, what they are asking, first we should understand increase in body mass. Body mass increase can be taken as a criterion for growth. So only increase in body mass means body mass, not either number or the internal, this one body mass whole, the body mass is they are asking. Increase in body mass can be taken as criterion for growth, right? So here the answer is both A and B, because the body mass is increased internally by living organisms and externally in non-living organisms or non-living objects. So externally growth is possible here, and it also increases the body mass, means that the object is increasing its even size or the mass, right? So that's why I'll consider here the answer is both A and B, right? And next here, so we'll choose the third question. So how many, either in number, okay, how many of the following properties are the defining characters of living organism? How many of the following properties are the defining characteristics of the living organisms? It's very important question it is. So defining properties are the special properties which are exhibited by only by living organisms. So here they are given us the properties like growth, they are given here growth and reproduction, metabolism, cellular organization, and yes, consciousness. So these are the properties which are given here. Yes, here growth, reproduction, metabolism, cellular organization, consciousness are all are the properties of living, but defining properties when they are asking, so we should concentrate here. Growth is one of the important property which is exhibited by all living organisms, but is it reproduction? This is no doubt the growth is requirement, one of the important property which is called defining, right? The every organism will shows their growth either in number or in the size, right? And the reproduction is the next property what they are given here. The reproduction is it which is essential for the what you called it is essential for the continuation of growth, but is it required for the survival of that species, individual? No. So because some examples when you observe, reproduction is one of the property of course, but this reproduction is not reproduction is not necessary for the survival of the yes, that individual organism. I will take some examples here. Some sterile organisms, right, sterile organisms, they are not reproduced, but they can survive, they can live, they can exhibit this that remaining properties, but reproduction is not a mandatory to define the living. So that's why this reproduction is not required, which is not required for the defining, right? So next one, the metabolism is also one of the important property, so we observed in all living beings, so this is also a property, right? And next, the cellular organization, every organism shows the cellular organization, right? So at least single cell cellular organization, and even in lower organisms cellular organization is there, and in higher level, so there is a level of organization may goes to the tissue like this. Yes, So this is also one of the property which will define the what is living, right? Next one, consciousness. And sometimes organisms may not be conscious, right? So consciousness not be observed, right? So that's why there is a 1, 2, and this is 3. So I'll choose here the answer is B, right? So this is what the answer is B here, right? Here consciousness is not mandatory, and reproduction is also not mandatory for the defining features, right? So that's why when the question how many means they are asking given here that many properties are given here. So in the following properties, defining characteristics what they are asking. So reproduction and consciousness are not defining characteristics of living organisms. Remaining growth, metabolism, cellular organization, there are three properties out of this 5. So 3 I will choose here, right? So next, so we'll go to the another question. So that is fourth question. Yes, select the incorrect statement about living. Select the incorrect statement about living processes. Living processes. So incorrect statement, right? So here we should notice incorrect statement about living processes. So what they are given here, first option, all living phenomenon is due to underlying interactions about living processes. It is right statement, it is right. So here the why we can try to understand the all living phenomenon means living processes is due to underlying interactions, but not by the molecules which are there in the cells. So the living phenomenon is possible with the underlying interactions. It's a interactions, underlying interactions means the interactions takes place between the that living system means in the cell. So there are many interactions where takes place, that is the all said to be living phenomenon, right? So but not by the molecules which are there in the which are involved in the formation of that cell, right? Or the the cell ingredients, right? Next one, the next option is given here, properties, right? The properties of tissues are not present in the constituents of cells. See, the properties of tissue which are not present in the constituents of the cell. This is also one of the right statement here. So next one is properties of cellular organelles. Properties of cellular organelles are present in the molecular constituents of the organelles, right? So what they are given here, properties of cellular organelles are present in the molecular constituents of the organelles. No. So molecular constituents, what they shows the properties, like you can take the cell is made up of different constituents, right? So there may be proteins, lipids, and all these molecular property constituents are there. But the properties of cellular organelles, what the cellular organelles properties means, so organelles like many are there. So they are present in the molecular constituents. No, in a molecular level constituents there is no such properties we observed, right? So of the organelles. See, this is the wrong statement or incorrect statement, you can say. One more option is given here, so try to observe this also. Yes, the interactions results in emergent properties at a higher level of organization. Yes, the interactions results in emergent properties at a higher level of organization. The interactions, that is what the interactions result in emergent properties at a higher level organization, right? So that's what the in higher level organization means in a tissue level or organ level, organ system level organization, the interactions results in emergent properties, right? That's what the either reproduction or growth, all is this is all possible by the organ systems which are involved in it. That's what the one of the interaction, for example their excretion, like so many processes, life processes are depends on the organ systems, that's higher level organization you can say, right? So this is also one of the living property, and this is this statement is right. So here the fourth option, sorry, the third option, that is C, is wrong statement here. Select incorrect statement about the living processes, what they are asked here, and the answer is C, right? So answer will be a C, right? So these four questions you practice, so and we'll take the other questions in the next video. Thank you, students.